learn life wisdom, and improve the life energy. Meditation Master app will
禅师 APP 正式上线了，无论您的手机、
whether you use cell phone or iPad, whether it's iOS or any kind of system, Android, you can all use this Meditation Master app. This has just been released. So there are more than 500 videos. There's video, there's audio, and also the written form. And you can also download it into your phone, and it covers your life wisdom, it covers the family relationship, and for youth and for work. And every day there's also an aphorism to guide everyone. You can also record your practice hours. Energy blessings will remove your fatigue and refresh your body and bring you energy. Every moment with Meditation Master app will help us to become a better me.
Hello,
my dear friends.
今天是我们地藏功德
Today
念佛班第5
is
天
day 5 for Earth Store
大家还是
Merit
要用
chanting class.
最真诚恭敬的心
So let's read the sutra and chant with our palms together and with the most sincere heart. Let's read the sutra.
称佛名号品第9。尔时，地藏菩萨摩诃萨白佛言：世尊，我今为未来众生演利益事，于生死中得大利益，唯愿世尊听我说之。佛告地藏菩萨：汝今欲兴慈悲，救拔一切罪苦六道众生，演不思议事，今正是时，唯当诉说无极涅槃，使汝早毕誓愿，无益无忧，现在未来，一切众生，地藏菩萨白佛言：世尊，过去无量阿僧祇劫，有佛出世，号无边身如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，赞声恭敬，即得超越四世劫生死重罪， 何况塑化形象，供养赞叹，其人或福，无量无边，又于过去，恒河沙劫，有佛出世，号宝性如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，一弹指请，发心皈依，是人于无上道，永不退转，又于过去，有佛出世，号波头摩圣如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，立于耳根，是人当得，千返生于六欲天中，何况至心称念。
好，请师父喝点茶，我们等一下再接着读。
Grandmaster, would you like to have some tea? And we can continue later.
好了，接着来哈。又于过去，不可说不可说，阿僧祇劫，有佛出世，号狮子吼如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，一念皈依，是人得遇，无量诸佛，摩顶受记，又于过去，有佛出世，号居留孙佛。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，至心瞻礼，或复赞叹，是人于贤劫，千佛会中，为大梵王，得受上记，又于过去，有佛出世，号毗婆尸。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，永不堕恶道，长生人天，受胜妙乐。又于过去，无量无数，恒河沙劫，有佛出世，号宝胜如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名， 毕竟不堕恶道，常在天上，受胜妙乐。又于过去，有佛出世，号宝相如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，生恭敬心，是人不久得阿罗汉果。又于过去，无量阿僧祇劫，有佛出世，号袈裟床如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，超100大劫，闻是佛名者，超100大劫，生死之罪。
好，请师父再喝点茶，等一下再带领我们再读诵。
Okay, Grandmaster, would you like to drink some tea again? And later you can lead us to read again.
好了啊，又于过去，有佛出世，号大通山王如来。若有男子女人，闻是佛名，闻是佛名者，是人得遇，恒河沙佛，广为说法，必成菩提。又于过去，有净月佛，山王佛，至圣佛，净明王佛，至成就佛，无上佛，妙生佛，满月佛，月面佛，有如是等，不可说佛。世尊，现在未来，一切众生，若人若天，若天若人，若男若女，但念得一佛名号，功德无量，何况多名，是众生等，生时死时，自得大利，终不堕恶道。若有临命中人，家中眷属，乃至一人，为是病人，高声念一佛名，是命中人， 除五无间罪，于业报等，悉得消灭。是五无间罪，随至极重，动经一劫，了不得出。诚思临命终时，他人为其称念佛名，于是最终亦见消灭。何况众生自称自念，祸福无量，灭无量罪。第九品圆满。
好，那请师父再喝点茶，润润喉咙。等一下再带领我们再念诵第10品。
Okay, Grandmaster, please have some more tea, and after that, you can lead us to read Chapter 10.
« 好，大家准备好。
Let's get ready.
较量布施功德圆品第10。尔时，地藏菩萨摩诃萨成佛威神，从座而起，胡跪合掌，白佛言：世尊，我观业道众生，较量布施，有轻有重，有一生受福，有10生受福，有100生千生，受大福利者，世事云何？唯愿世尊为我说之。尔时，佛告地藏菩萨：吾今于忉利天宫，一切众会，说言菩提布施，较量功德轻重，汝当谛听，吾为汝说。地藏白佛言：我宜世事，愿乐欲闻。佛告地藏菩萨：难言菩提，有诸国王， 宰辅大臣，大长者，大刹利，大婆罗门等。若遇最下贫穷，乃至聋残喑哑，聋痴无目，如是种种，住不玩具者，是大国王等。欲布施时，若能具大慈悲，下心含笑，亲手便布施，或使人施，软言慰喻，是国王等。所获福利，如布施，百恒河沙佛，功德之力，何以故？原是国王等，于是最贫贱辈，及不玩具者，发大慈心，是故福利，有如此报，百千生中，常得七宝具足，何况衣食受用。复次，地藏，若未来世，有诸国王，至婆罗门等，遇佛塔寺，或佛形象，乃至菩萨，声闻，辟支佛像，恭自营办，供养布施，是国王等，当得三劫，为地师身，受胜妙乐。若能以此布施福利，回向法界，是大国王等，于十劫中，常为大梵天王。
好，那请师父再喝点茶，等一下再带领我们诵读。
All right, Grandmaster, please have some tea and lead us to read the sutra later.
好，接下来哈，复次，地藏，若未来世，有诸国王，至婆罗门等，遇仙佛塔庙，或至经像，损坏破落，毁坏破落，乃能发心修补，是国王等，或自营办，或劝他人， 乃至百千人等，布施结缘，是国王等，百千生中，常为转轮王身，如是他人，同布施者，百千生中，常为小国王身，更能于塔庙前发回向心，如是国王，乃及诸人，尽成佛道，以此果报，无量无边，复次，地藏，未来世中，有诸国王及婆罗门等，见诸老病及生产妇女，若一念间，具大慈心，布施医药，饮食，卧具，令使安乐，使令安乐，如是福利，最不思议，100劫中，常为净居天主，200劫中，常为六欲天主，毕竟成佛，永不堕恶道，乃至百千生中，耳不闻苦声，复次，地藏，若未来世中，有诸国王及婆罗门等，能作如是布施，祸福无量，更能回向，不问多少，毕竟成佛，何况施饭，转轮之报，是故，地藏，普劝众生，当如是学。复次，地藏，未来世中，若善男子、善女人，于佛法中种少善根，毛发沙尘等许，毛发沙尘等许，所受福利，不可为喻。
请师父再稍微休息一下，我们接着读。
Grandmaster, please take a rest, and then we can continue later.
好，我们接着读哈。复次，地藏，未来世中，若有善男子、善女人，遇佛形象、菩萨形象、 辟支佛形象，转轮王形象，布施供养，得无量福，常在人天，受胜妙乐。若能回向法界，世人福利，不可为喻。复次，地藏，未来世中，若有善男子、善女人，遇大乘经典，或听闻一偈一句，发音众心，赞叹恭敬，布施供养，世人获大果报，无量无边。若能回向法界，其福不可为喻。复次，地藏，若未来世中，有善男子、善女人，遇佛塔寺、大乘经典心者，布施供养，瞻礼赞叹，恭敬合掌。若遇故者，或毁坏者，修补营礼，或读发心，或劝多人，同共发心，如是等辈，30生中，常为诸小国王，檀越之人，常为轮王，还以善法教化诸小国王。复次，地藏，未来世中，若有善男子、善女人，于佛法中所种善根，或布施供养，或修补塔寺，或庄礼经典，乃至一毛一尘，一沙一滴，如是善事，但能回向法界，世人功德，百千生中，受上妙乐。如但回向，自家眷属，或自身利益，如是之果，即三生受乐，舍一得万报。是故，地藏，布施因缘，其事如是。第10品圆满。
感恩师父。好，请师父再稍作休息，等一下再带领我们再继续诵读。
Thank you, Grandmaster. Grandmaster, why don't you take a rest, and after that we can start read chapter 11.
好，我们继续诵读。
All right, let's continue to read.
地神护法品第11。尔时，监老地神白佛言：世尊，我从西来，瞻视顶礼无量菩萨摩诃萨，皆是大不可思议，神通智慧，广度众生，是地藏菩萨摩诃萨，于诸菩萨，誓愿深重，世尊，是地藏菩萨，于阎浮提，有大因缘，如文殊、普贤、观音、弥勒，亦化百千身形，度于六道，其愿尚有毕竟，是地藏菩萨，教化六道，一切众生所发誓愿结束，如千百亿恒河沙。世尊，我观未来，及现在众生，于所住处，于南方清洁之地，以土石竹木，作其龛室，室中能塑化，乃至金银铜铁，作地藏形象，烧香供养，瞻礼赞叹，世人居处，即得10种利益。何等为10？一者，土地丰壤；二者，家宅永安；三者，先王升天；四者，现存异寿；五者，所求随意；六者，无水火灾；七者，虚耗辟除；八者，杜绝噩梦；九者，出入神户；十者，多遇圣因。世尊，未来世中，及现在众生，若能于所住处方面，作如是供养，得如是利益。
好，再请师父稍微休息一下，等一下再带领我们继续诵读。
Grandmaster, please take another rest, and later you can lead us to continue reading the sutra.
好，我们接着读哈。
All right, let's continue.
复白佛言：世尊，未来世中，若有善男子、善女人，于所住处有此经典，即菩萨相，世人更能转读经典，供养菩萨。我常日夜以本神力卫护世人，乃至水火盗贼，大横小横，一切恶事悉皆消灭。佛告监牢地神：汝大神力，诸神少及，何以故？阎浮土地，悉蒙汝护，乃至草木沙石，稻麻竹苇，谷米宝贝，从地而有，皆因汝力，又常称扬地藏菩萨利益之事。汝之功德，即以神通百千倍于常分地神。若未来世中有善男子、善女人，供养菩萨，即转读是经，但依地藏本愿经，一世修行者，如以本神力而拥护之，勿令一切灾害及不如意事则闻其耳，则闻于耳，何况令受？非但汝独护世人故，亦有师范眷属，诸天眷属，拥护世人。何故？得如是圣贤拥护，皆由瞻礼地藏形象，即转读是本愿经故，自然毕竟，出离苦海，正涅盘乐。以是之故，得大拥护。第11品圆满。好，那
All right,
大家呢，还是要以最虔诚、恭敬的心，
still
合十
have the
合掌，
most respectful heart and
为了自己
join our
的
palms,
长辈、祖先、
chant for our
父母
seniors,
等
our
已往生的
parents,
亲人，
our
让他们
deceased
脱离苦
relatives and families,
转生
so that they
转
can
道
leave the
道
sufferings
天道
and
乃至极
be
乐世界
liberated from the evil realms, be reborn in the human realm or the heavenly realm. And the sutra that we have read, and later we're going to chant Earth Store Bodhisattva's heart mantra. Through doing these, we will receive countless merits and virtues. We will be protected by all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all deities and ghosts. Will allow us to fulfill our wishes, to be healthy and happy. So now, let's sincerely chant.
vismaye svaha om hahaha 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 哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈？哦，哈哈哈，为什么耶娑 耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，维萨摩耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈， 耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶娑哈，唵 vismaye svaha Om hahaha 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 vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye svaha vismaye svaha hahaha vismaye 耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么耶梭哈，唵哈哈哈，为什么。
以此诵念功德回向法界，
We'd like to dedicate the merits from this chanting to the Dharma realm,
回向一切众生，
to all sentient beings,
回向佛菩萨，
to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
让我们消除一切恶业，
Allow all of our bad karmas to be eradicated,
消除一切病痛，
all our illnesses disappear,
消除一切魔障，
all those obstacles disappear,
消除一切烦恼，
all afflictions disappear,
都能获得健康，
may all be healthy,
让大家健康长寿。
everybody be healthy and enjoy long life.
好，感恩佛菩萨，
Gratitude to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
感恩父母，
Gratitude to our parents.
感恩我们周围的人，
Gratitude to the people around us.
感恩家人给我们的爱，
Gratitude to the love rendered to us by our family members.
感恩所有的朋友。
Gratitude to all our friends.
好，我们搓搓手，
All right, now rub your hands
拍拍头。
and then pat your head.
好，随便拍一拍。
Just pat freely.
一切疾病与烦恼都消失。
All illnesses and afflictions disappear.
最好债务也消失啊。
Better, all debts also disappear.
大家诵念的应该是非常的用心。
I can
我自己
see
感觉特别的好。
you all chanted with your whole heart. I can feel very well.
所有佛菩萨给我们一个巨大的时空。
All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas
太平洋
provide us with a great time and space, which is grander than the whole Pacific Ocean. All Buddhas
不同的天，
and Bodhisattvas are in different heavens watching us and blessing us
我相信
and
大家都
empowering
获得
us.
非常巨大的
I believe everybody has received immeasurable benefits.
这个
We have all already learned helping others and make offerings will receive boundless benefits and merits.
或者是塑画、塑造，
Make offerings to sculpt or paint Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, pictures, images, to share sutras, read sutras. The merits are so huge.
从这个三恶道之中
Can
直接就解脱了。
they can allow us to be liberated from the three evil
正
realms.
念的课程啊，
This is a wonderful chanting class. I feel so joyful and so grateful. These days, we received a lot of messages, emails, and
有朋友
they are
会
all very
对一些
excited about this
特别一些
class.
字
Some
发音呢读音
have confusions on the pronunciation of some of the characters. So Joy said, "Thank you, Grandmaster, for leading us to read this Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra." And everybody can see Grandmaster's sincerity and respect in every sentence, in every word. Even there's a tiny mistake, Grandmaster would read it again. And so this respect we can feel, and we are learning from you, Grandmaster, and we're grateful for you, Grandmaster. And some of our online friends said, oh, we need to read every character to be exactly correct. And today I heard an online friend say, some suggest that some of the Chinese characters should have another way to pronounce. Actually, like for 行愿 should be 横愿. I'm not very clear about it because that's in ancient Chinese, and we've never seen that character being pronounced in that way. And like 愿乐玉文, because sometimes bodhisattvas or some deities, when they ask world honored one, could you please expound the teaching, and then the bodhisattvas or deity would say, oh, I would be joyfully listen to it. So 愿 means I'm willing to, and 乐 means joyful. And some online friends said, oh, this actually in ancient Chinese, it should pronounce as 要. But oh, the le should be pronounced as yao. Well, my understanding is actually like in some other idioms, we usually would pronounce it as le, and which means I'm very happily and joyfully do it. My understanding is that Grandmaster's pronunciation is correct because in this pronunciation, it can carry out the right understanding. I suggest all of our online friends to follow Grandmaster exactly. The most important thing is to understand the meaning of the sutra. We don't want to say that other masters read it incorrectly, but there's an old Chinese saying is like, those virtuous people like mountains and wise people like waters. And so this character le used to be pronounced as yao, and in the Ming Dynasty, actually it's like yue, and then it becomes yao, and then 't becomes le, and so there's a lot of debate on this, and yeah, so we heard someone in CCTV, the Central Television of China, they actually pronounce it as le, like 仁者乐山, the virtuous like the mountain. And they use the current pronunciation to pronounce this idiom. It actually can pass down the correct meaning. At the time, some people from the audience even made a phone call to the Central Television to say that, this MC probably made it wrong. But, well, Grandmaster says, well, actually, I dare not say much in our audience. Well, our online friends, there are all kinds of wise people and high-level people. There are all kinds of tigers and dragons there. And so I'm like an archaeologist for the Chinese those antiques and ancient history, and like the ancient jade or antiques, and or the some characters. I have a little I've done some little study on it, like this le, it can be pronounced as yue, and then this le, when it goes to different areas of China, we think that it pronounced le, but in another area it becomes wo, because they cannot pronounce le. Say, for example, we wear shoes, and so in Hunan province they would pronounce as 孩子, and it's the same pronunciation as children. So the shoes is pronounced as 鞋子, but some people pronounce as 孩子, which has a similar meaning, same meaning as children. And so the dialect in some areas becomes their official pronunciation or official language. So the confusion comes from here. In Song Dynasty, why they change the pronunciation of this character? It's because in Song Dynasty, the capital city was in Henan province, close to Kaifeng city. And so the pronunciation of this number then needs to be close to the dialect over there. In Chang'an, they have different dialects and pronunciations as Beijing or Hangzhou. The emperor, when they listen to some of the operas or something, the northern people will not be able to understand it because Hangzhou is in the south part of China. And in some dynasties, the capital city is in Guangzhou, so it's very south of China. And So we know 瑜伽 in Chinese, 瑜伽 in English is yoga master. And they practice and they do a lot of sitting meditations. And in Sanskrit, the pronunciation is close to like 瑜伽 or yoga. But when it goes to China, all these monks, they would call it 瑜伽. Because in Shanxi province, they would pronounce like 切, which has a similar pronunciation as eggplant. And so, those people, so if they say, I want to go home, they cannot pronounce the home, which is 家. They can only pronounce 切. It's just like when they pronounce shoes, they will pronounce as children. And so in Master Long Shu, he has a very famous writing about the yoga, different classes of yoga or something, and but usually people would call it 瑜. You would pronounce that 瑜伽. It's because in the Tang Dynasty, they propagate this scripture, and then they have already like so many people already call it 瑜伽, so it then becomes a custom. And so even though it doesn't necessarily be right, and then because so many people just pronounce this way, then because everybody acknowledge this pronunciation, and then this becomes a correct pronunciation. And so now in the Han area, yoga, they call it 瑜伽, and 僧家 means monks, and then they will pronounce it as 僧伽. It's because of at that time and in that area, the dialect caused the pronunciation to be this way. And now the formal pronunciation, if you pronounce as a 瑜伽, like yoga master, then they say, oh, this is wrong. You should pronounce as 瑜伽. And so, we don't need to really debate too much on these pronunciation. Whatever we're like promoting the Dharma teaching should be right. And there's another word, 绳指, and because of the dialect, now they pronounce as 神奇. Yeah, so it's because of the dialect in that local area. And in Shandong coastal area, when they say eat, they would say, like usually in Chinese should be 吃饭, they say 逮饭, which is different from 吃饭. And in Huang County, they say, can you pronounce 吃? And they would say 七. They cannot pronounce 吃, they can only pronounce 七. And in Canton, they can say 吃. They can say 吃饭. They cannot say 吃饭. They cannot pronounce some. Yeah, so it's because of their dialect, the way they pronounce things. It's just they are habitually pronounced that way, and so this is the habit of your tongues, and maybe you didn't realize that. And if you're used to that kind of dialect or that kind of language, and then you didn't realize that your tongue, the muscles, have already been getting used to that. Yeah, so in Guangzhou, they always say 吃吃吃, and in Beijing, they would always pronounce that 吃吃吃. So in some areas, their tongue cannot roll up, and so it's just a habit. And if we use this dialect and this capital city and the they sort of determine the pronunciation of that specific character, whether it's 神奇 or 于且于. So the correct way of pronunciation should be according to the dictionary. So I'd like to remind you, don't correct others without, the authority. Yeah, and also if you're too attached to these pronunciation, that's useless. Well, you're not awakened. You're not understanding the meaning of it. In learning Buddha Dharma, you need to realize the meaning. And if you're just like strictly attached to the pronunciation, well, I have no attachments and no desire, no pursuit. If we haven't analyzed the meaning, right now we haven't analyzed the advanced meanings of the sutra. Right now we just have the general brief understandings of sutra. Right now, for everybody, we can only start from this basic level. We can we can accumulate some merits. Everybody don't want, are afraid of falling to the evil realms, and so what to do? Then we accumulate merits. But if we are always attached to the pronunciation and said, "Oh, my master said that," a few days ago, I know that there's a master in China who is already over 100 years, and he was also teaching about the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. And his pronunciation, we call like liberate. Liberate in Chinese is pronounced 解脱. And he pronounced as 解脱. You cannot pronounce as 解脱. And so if I think of where he was born, and I understand why he pronounced as 解. Those animals, they have some tools putting on the animal, and so so they have I don't know if there's an English name for that. That's a chewy. Not chewy. It is something that the horse or the other animals, these tools that they put into their mouth. And so when you want to disassemble these tools, and English probably will use the disassemble, but in Chinese, you pronounce as 解. And you can also, the same character, you can also say 解, can pronounce as 解. And so the northern pronunciation usually would use 解. Especially, on the card, if there are lots of stuff on the card, and we will say we unload all these these loads. And anyways, he actually explained the sutra pretty well, and he probably just has the habit of pronounce this character as 解. Well, I'm not going to correct it. That would be too, irrespectful. Even if, if he pronounces it as 解脱, he will be liberated. And if we pronounce that 解脱, we can also be liberated. And also, sometimes for people, if you learn from this master first, and if this first master pronounced as 解, you would think if another master pronounced as 解, you think then that the second master is wrong. Maybe 1,000 years ago, he's from Shanxi province, and they call sentient. now we actually should pronounce as sengjia, which is correct. Well, the ancient Chinese language has something to do with the local, culture and dialect. If you don't understand it, you won't understand why some characters have different pronunciations. And maybe one person is very compassionate. Maybe some people they can't even read, but they can still be compassionate. And so for a compassionate person, maybe they have not had a profound or very sophisticated study of this, sutra. Do you still remember a movie called yeah, it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah. And so Yu Jiaolong is the main character. She wants her master asked her to read this to the master. And so this girl didn't read it correctly. She read it in the wrong way to her master, but she herself, because she was able to see and read the sutra, so she got the true meaning, not the sutra, but she got the true meaning of that. It's actually the secret of how to practice that sword, and so she got the secrets, but she pronounced some of them wrong, incorrectly, so her master didn't get it. And so in the Laoshan area, some teachers, they have just graduated from high school and then they go back and then teach those Laoshan students. And sometimes there are even teachers just graduate from elementary school and then they are teaching high school. So how much knowledge they have, that these teachers. And in ancient China, there are very small percentage of people who are educated. Su Shi or Lao Tzu, they have a lot of quite profound knowledge, and and Li Bai can even write poems. These kind of people are very rare. Nowadays, everybody can probably make poems, even those people who sell groceries, vegetables, they can make poems probably, because nowadays most people are educated. And so when we think about the characters, how to pronounce it, I hope you will truly contemplate on the meaning of the sutra and then come and ask me. So thank you, Grandmaster. Joyce said Grandmaster's voice and Grandmaster's vow and heart and mind. And so all these body, speech, and mind, these are the most important. And well, Grandmaster has already pronounce all these characters almost like the standard MCs. And so Grandmaster said, if I pronounce it with my dialect, like Sade, which means you cannot understand, right? So this means, what are you doing? We actually need to grasp the meaning of the sutra, to realize the meaning of the sutra is the most important, and not the pronunciation of each character. And Joy said, I still remember, Grandmaster, you told a story. It was an old, it was a grandma, maybe. She hasn't heard about Hong Mami Bei Mei Hong, and she probably has never heard about the right pronunciation of Hong Mami Bei Mei Hong, but she always pronounced as Hong Mami Bei Mei Niu. But she was very extremely sincere, and so she got tons of benefits. She can still she can see Guan Yin Bodhisattva in her dreams, and all her illnesses was just removed. And so And another pronunciation of Puti Sa Do or Jinggang Sa Do. Yeah, so this character Do, Most people would pronounce as 金刚萨锤. So the door, a lot of people. I know someone who even make it into a song like 金刚萨锤, and so it's. Well, I would say those people who don't know, but they are they're fearless, but he was a very famous musician, and then a master heard this song and was laughing, and so he said, "Oh no," and the musician said, "Why are you laughing?" And then the master said, "Oh, I just really like it, so I laughed." And the musician sent her song to me, and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's good that you allow me to receive, learn a new mantra." I didn't correct him because he was, he's very famous. And if he, he's very sincere, and he probably will still get the same blessings. So some characters are not very frequently used, and so when we pronounce it, it's like sometimes not easy. And say, for example, in Hebei, Shandong, and Henan province and Liaoning province, se, which means color, and so Joyce, how would you pronounce it? She said, "Oh, we will. Yeah, when we read it, in a classroom, we will say 色, but at home we will pronounce it as 闪. Yeah. So another character is 落, and a lot of times we would pronounce it as lao, and if we say there's a bird coming down, we won't say it. Yeah, so 落 we will pronounce as 落 instead of lao. And also, it's in the Heart Sutra. 色不异空, 空不异色. Well, which means form is no different from emptiness, and emptiness no different from form. And so this form is pronounced as 色. And so sometimes, if everybody pronounces this way, maybe it's because this is the capital, and everybody has already pronounced this way. And yeah, because emperor also pronounced this way. And if you don't pronounce this way, I don't want to be a monk anymore. And if the Empress Wu Zetian who pronounce it this way, because if the Empress is reading this way, then everybody must pronounce this way. And if she call this deer is a horse, you have to call this deer a horse. And so a lot of the pronunciation comes from the time, time, and also the location, and also the position of that person will all determine the pronunciation. Yeah, so all English-speaking people, Korean-speaking people, they don't read any of these Chinese characters, and they read their own the sutra in their own language, and they will receive just as much blessings. And when I chant some mantra, and yeah, so I asked them, well, the most important thing is the sincerity. Yeah. This mantra actually has a meaning of, that kind of light or that kind of image. So, but the most important thing is the heart. If you're attached to the form, this is the preliminary level. Form or sound, these are preliminary level, the lower level. And when we're beyond these forms and sound and these, then it's a more advanced level. In some ceremony, you see the master, they say, oh, when you bow, you do this, you need to bow another degree. Oh, really? And he said, and he said, oh, my master, when he bow, he would do this certain degree. And my master, usually after he prostrate, he would clap his hands. And even if your master don't clap your hands, you are still, prostrating. And anyway, so this is my reminder. The most important thing is the understanding, to realize the meaning of it. Well, I would say the pronunciation of these characters, we need to use the most common one and the formal one. Yeah. So if I'm pointing something to a certain place and you're only looking at my finger and say, oh, there's a stand there. Well, you should focus on this sutra and learn from it. And this is the most important. And Joyce said, every single day, Grandmaster is thinking about helping all sentient beings and always thinking about how more people can learn from it and how more people can benefit. And that's why Grandmaster always try to choose the pronunciation that will be accepted by most people. And there's one place when they say 解脱不 will he be liberated, and some people say, oh, actually this bu can be pronounced as fo. If you insist to pronounce that way, most people will be questioning that. Why it should be questioning this? And this question will actually disturb his understanding of the sutra. And that's why Grandmaster would choose most people, the pronunciation that most people would choose. And Grandmaster said, if I pronounce in a standard way, then you think I'm wrong. If you pronounce that very weird way, then you think that's, you think that's right. Yeah. I don't think in the past somebody pronounced that way that's correct. I need to tell you the right way. Yeah, for that, 神奇. When we are taking refuge to Grandmaster, actually we are calling pray to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and deities. And so for the deities, so one Taiwan disciple say, oh, it should be pronounced as 神奇, and some people say it's 神智, and that's why Grandmaster changed it into 神灵, and so nobody will they will fight about this pronunciation. Yeah. We are now learning the meaning of the sutra. Do not be too picky. You want to correct, it's a good intention, but before you pick others, you need to do further investigation to make sure that you are correct. And if you learn energy bagua from me and then I don't know where you go and find another way to walk, and he has already walked for 1 year in the wrong way, and when I want to correct him, he cannot be corrected because he's already used to that. Anyways, you already understand the meaning of what we're trying to do. Any other questions that we'd like to communicate? Anyways, Joy says, all our online friends, last time in the live feed, we follow Grandmaster, listen to Grandmaster explanation of the sutra, and this time we follow Grandmaster read and chant. We all benefit so much. And one of our online friends said he has Earth Store Bodhisattva's Vow Sutra. He has already offered on the altar for 21 years, and every time she read it, she cannot understand. Only this time, after she read the sutra, listening to Grandmaster's explanation, finally, after 21 years, she's able to understand it. She's like full of tears and very, very joyful and happy and touched. And Grandmaster said, well, last night when I was sleeping, well, I also sleep, okay? And so and then Earth Store Bodhisattva told a joke to me, and I was laughing. And then I forgot his joke. And then after an hour, I fall asleep. And Earth Store Bodhisattva hold my hands to explain to this person, to that person, and show me the great hells, those fire dogs and fire dragons, how they run, and show me there was one ghost king, how to help him, how to use skillful means to help sentient beings. And there's another senior who's probably a modern person. Where is that person? Oh, in the hell. And how to persuade him. And Earth Store Bodhisattva said, I cannot persuade him. You go ahead and persuade him. And then this old man used a lot of modern, philosophers, explanation, and he doesn't want to give up. And so we cannot convince him. So we just use, kindness and love to warm him. And so he had a stone hard body, and eventually I can see that he gets gentler and softer, and finally he said, okay, I'll listen to you. So that whole night I followed Earth Store Bodhisattva. He was like a real human being, like a person holding my hand, and a great figure, and helping all these people. Very kind, very compassionate, like a senior. And he showed me the whole night. And I felt so happy and joyful, because these days, reading these sutra, so the gate of hell is open, and now the gate to the heaven is now open too. And so now we need to accumulate merits. So let's start from acknowledging what our parents have done for us. We definitely need to be respectful for our parents, because otherwise there's suffering ocean. Yeah. And someone said, oh, there's a old man, and they said, oh, there's someone who want to throw his mother down to the this is the child of that old lady who wanted to throw down his mother down from, I don't know, 3rd floor or 4th floor. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is terrible. If your parents didn't look after you, you would definitely die. So all the favor that your parents have done to you, some children say, oh, mom, what good thing you have done to me. And so the mom has nothing to say, because everything that she does becomes a habit. It's not like a friend maybe lend you $10, or maybe your classmates maybe helped you to move, or invite a friend to you, but your parents, your mother and father, have been treating you nicely or do good things for you for a whole lifetime. It's like just where to start, how to say the good things that I did for you. And another online friend said, oh, they offered Earth Store Bodhisattva's Vow Sutra before, and finally now, after listening to Grandmaster's explanation, now she understood. And before, she also copied Earth Store Bodhisattva's Sutra, and she copied like most part of it. And some other friends, they have already copied several copies and sent it to the temples. And she hasn't finished the whole sutra. And finally, after listening to my explanation, she wanted to complete, copying the sutra. And she said, "Where should I put this sutra?" Well, when you copy the sutra, it's actually helping yourself, enlighten yourself. And now you need to also help others and enlighten others. When you are copying the sutra, you are only helping yourself. And now we have, recordings, we have audios, we have videos, and it's like a movie, like a video, like you can watch and see Grandmaster is teaching the meaning of the sutra. So not only you should help yourself, but you should also help others. That will bring you even more merits. And Joy said, when we copy the sutras, why we should do that? Why should we also sculpt or paint Buddha or Bodhisattva's image? It's for because if you sculpt the statue or paint the image, so more people can, reverently gaze at or sing praises to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And if you copy the sutra, then this sutra should be spread to other people so other people can read it. Just for ourselves to be able to read this sutra is only helping others. If we can share with other people and allow other people to understand it, it would be this is much more beneficial. Now with internet, this is so wonderful. Now we have the whole thing. We have the text, we have the written form of the sutra, we have Grandmaster reading the sutra, the audio, we have the video masters explaining and reading the sutra. Sharing is the most important to spread to others, spread the Dharma. And sharing and spreading Dharma is what Buddha has told us. This is one of the most important things. Most people only want to benefit ourselves. Everybody, when you accumulate merits, I hope it's not only for yourself. You should also do for some other people, like your parents or your children or your neighbors or your friends or the whole society. The bigger of the scope, the better. That's my experience. I hope you can understand. All right. So that's all for today's communication. The merits has already been formed to help others, to allow other people to read it, to share. This will bring us immeasurable merits and benefit. Wish everybody healthy and happy, and your wishes will be fulfilled. Your whole family will be happy in harmony, and you enjoy auspiciousness. We'll see you tomorrow.
就此欢喜，我快乐了。 福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我智慧了，我宽容了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我慈悲了，我自在了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真理，修行的意义。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般，彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽了，我快乐了，我快乐了，我美丽了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我幸福了。